I know that a lot of people who follow the women's game have joined us have pulled up a chair in the recent past. Exeter Chiefs was only accepted into what was then the Premier 15s in 2021, ahead of the 2021 season. And in 5 years, you got into the final in the second year in the Prem, been to 2 finals and 1 semi-final in 5 years. That's a very hot run. I mean, performance in terms of, for you, Poppy, when you left Bristol and they started up Exeter Chiefs here, and you've now built this amazing position with this team, this must be the dream come true for you, because it allows for you to play in a really high performance environment, balance the job of coaching that you seem to absolutely be loving, and building a second career while you're still busy with this one, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first year, Susie did have to really convince me to come and join, which I did in the end, because I kind of realised I was missing not playing. And again, it fell in that awkward COVID time. So I remember the first game I actually played against Bristol at Sandy Park, and there was no one in the stands, and it was really quiet.
Wait, rewind. Why did she have to convince you?
Well, after Bristol, I was kind of oh, I think I'm done playing. I don't know if I'd like it anymore. I think it was just a typical, I was playing uni and Prem rugby then, pretty much for the 4 years that I did my degree. So I played a crazy amount of rugby then. And I think I probably just thought I've hit my tolerance. I don't know. And I think I just kind of thought, I'm not going to get any better. That's that. And then it was an odd timing really. Bristol kind of maybe it's time for you to go. And I was yeah, I think I'm going to head out. And then Susie was oh, you should come to Chiefs. And I was well, no, I don't want to play. And I remember she was actually sat in my office, it must have been a couple of months before the Prem started. And she was I'm going to tell you everyone I've signed, and that's going to convince you. And I was okay, go for it. And she was Linda van der Velden. And I was don't know who that is. She was Kate Zachary. I was don't know who that is. And that sounds awful, because obviously now they're
Poppy, that's mean.
Awful. But it was it was weird, because
that's rude. She's really trying.
I know, she was really trying. But Linda obviously had come from the Netherlands. I didn't know who Linda was. I mean, when
Dutch
I first
rugby?
met Linda,
Yeah.
When I first met Linda, I was oh my God, who are you? She's so massive and just gorgeous as well. I was how can you be that big and be that gorgeous? And then I know that's weird, but she is. I remember saying that. I was you're huge and so pretty. And she was who are you? I was I'm Poppy. And obviously Kate is a big name, and I feel very honoured to have played with Kate for such a long time. But no one really knew about the USA Eagles then. I know that sounds awful, but the Prem was so English that I only knew the English crew. I'd played, with Marley Packer, Poppy Cleal, players like Sarah Hunter, who had been at Bristol for such a long time. So she was name dropping these people, and I just was I just don't know who you talk about.
Yeah.
And I was probably a bit rude and was a bit stuff you, I don't want to do it. I just really didn't enjoy playing at that point in time. And then I watched them play against Gloucester in their first ever game, and was a bit why am I being an idiot? I should just go and play and see if she'll have me back. I actually remember texting her, begging her, being please, will you still contract me? And she was you have to come to training and then we'll see. And I was oh
Ooh.
God. Ooh. And then I did come to training, then I got to play. And it was kind of ironic that my first game was against Bristol, because it felt a bit bittersweet that it was the last club I'd played for. Probably didn't leave on the best note there, but felt it was the right thing for me to do for them and for me. So yeah, and then I don't even remember what your question was. Sorry, but what was your question again?
Why did she have to convince you to keep playing rugby?
Yeah, and now she doesn't have to convince me, obviously. But definitely at the time, I was so set on not playing, which is a shame, because I don't think any player should get to a point where they actively want to stop. I was only 21 as well, but I'm glad I carried on playing, and now I'm much older and played a lot more rugby. So
why do you enjoy playing now?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel my identity with playing has changed. I think my job at the uni has given me maybe a different outlook on what rugby should be for me. So, getting to coach players like Neve Orchard, who's at Chiefs as well. She arrived from Hartbury as a centre. She's definitely not a centre, by any stretch. She's an excellent back row player. And I feel kind of what actually makes me feel my reason why for playing is watching Neve come through the uni program, do really well, and now actually having a genuine friendship with Neve, and feeling I've kind of been able to watch her grow into what she is now, and I think she'll be a fantastic player. So I think that's why I enjoy playing, is because I can play then alongside the people that I feel I can coach now So it's a bit of a different outlook on it. I still really enjoy it, but I enjoy it in a different way, I think, now.
Because you're not playing for yourself so much.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anymore. Like, if someone said to me, like, what's your reason why? It wouldn't be, like, driven about myself. It would be about the girls I get to coach, and hopefully, like, one day watching them play for Chiefs, or not even play for Chiefs, just watching them continue to play and progressing as a player. And, you know, I have a lot of really good friends who I've coached at the uni, maybe for small periods of time or quite long periods of time. And I feel like they're really why I enjoy it now, not for myself, really.
Does that check out Alex? Like, what kind of captain is she?
Oh, God, don't ask.
She's amazing to watch, and I'm so thankful that like I came to Chiefs, because I think I could learn a lot from Poppy. Like, she's a very like well-spoken, as you could see, you know, she knows what to say, when to say it, and then she definitely leads by example, you know, like she's not the loudest, but she's also not the quietest, but I really truly believe that like she knows what she's talking about. So like I think the players buy into this. I personally buy into this because she knows the rugby. She knows the game. And then she grinds week in, week out, like I said earlier. So she leads by example, and then knows what to say, when to say it.
Work ethic.
Yeah.
First ever Centurion for Exeter women. Yeah. First player to 100 caps. For a club that's 5 years old. Why are you looking so uncomfortable at that? Why are you pulling that face?
Awkward. I don't know.
Why do you look like you want to run away now?
I don't know. It just feels a bit like, I don't know. I think what actually felt more poignant about the 100 game was that, like, obviously we had a tough result against Gloucester, but I think like what it made me think about is like, okay, in 100 games, like, have you set out what you wanted to do, which was to try and, I mean, I was only speaking to Tess about this in the office earlier about, you know, building a club that people are addicted to being at. I think, you know, probably about 3 years ago when I think it was my second season at Chiefs, I genuinely felt like addicted to being at Sandy Park. Like, it would be 10 p.m. and you'd be thinking like, I've got to be up at work tomorrow at 6, but I don't want to miss out on everyone chatting in the food room about whatever it might be, nothing serious, you know, just chit-chattering away. And I think it's like trying to make sure that the program continues to be addictive for people. So like I thought on that 100 game, not about the result, but I thought like, okay, in 100 games, like how much have you been able to influence in terms of making the program as good as it possibly can be? And I think it made me just realize like, I'm not done yet. I'm not there yet. I haven't contributed what I want to yet. And that's not to say it's about me, but about like the impact that you can have on a program or impact you can have on the people around you. So in some sense, it's never obviously glad you lose, because it's not that, but like, I'm kind of glad the game was challenging, because I think it just resonated with me that I'm like, okay, 100 games is like, you know, a big moment and it's a big history moment, but like actually in the grand scheme of things, it's quite insignificant in the impact you can have in a program and a club. So it kind of felt like the 100 games, I was a bit like, oh, I don't want to, like that makes me feel a bit awkward. It's more like, okay, so you've hit 100 games, you've done X, Y, and Z. Like, what's the next thing that you're going to do to help make things better, or to support people like, you know, newcomers coming in, you know, the two that you'll speak to in a bit, I think they could be in a Chiefs program soon. So what can you do between now and then to make sure that actually happens? That was what I think is more important. The 100 game bit just made me feel a bit like icky, just because, I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know, just awkward, but it's fine.